All right. Hi, everybody. We are back and we are in the process of having a quick video deck tech here. So a little something different here from the Epic Experiment podcast. I'm Bruce. If you're wondering where I am right now, I am currently having to work from somewhere other than the school I normally teach at. So I am doing this on a lunch break. But anyway, so yeah, quick video deck tech for this guy here, Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant. Which is one of the new commanders from Commander Legends that came out. So let's just read Nevinyrral pretty quickly here. So we have 3 white, blue, black, so Esper colors for a 3/6 legendary creature zombie wizard. This is hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. When Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant enters the battlefield, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that has died this turn. And when Nevinyrral dies, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So Nevinyrral is a lot like the disc that is his namesake. So Nevinyrral's disc is an artifact from ages ago that was used as a board wipe. However, there's a loophole with Nevinyrral that we're going to talk about shortly. But we have an Esper colored commander here, reasonably expensive to cast. So let's start with some of the ways that we're going to try and hurry out our guys. So we're going to have some ramp. We're going to have Star Compass, Sol Ring, Felwar Stone as sort of the big ones. But we also got Ashnod's Altar, which is a way to generate some mana if we need it. The other one over here with our enchantments, of course, if you are playing in these colors, you need Smothering Tithe. Smothering Tithe is very strong. And Revel in Riches, both of these make treasure tokens, which can allow you to ramp out your creature, particularly Nevinyrral. Those are the biggest ways of ramping. We're a little light on ramp in this particular color combination. And we'll talk about that to some degree in a bit as well. But yeah, those are some ramp targets. We also have things like we have Coveted Jewel, which can be used as ramp. This is kind of like the Monarch token stuck on a card. So you can use this to help you ramp. It's not cheap, but anyway, it is something that you can do. And this Magic Mirror can sometimes be. Oh, sorry, I misread that one. So, okay, but yeah, so you already got a whole bunch of really interesting sort of ways to ramp your thing out. The creature package is pretty slight because you don't want to have a lot of things that you're going to be blowing up with your commander. So when Nevinyrral dies, any creatures, any artifacts, any any enchantments are going to die. So your creatures are Avenging Angel, Kazuma, Dream Trawler, Dream Stealer, God Eternal Kefnet, Hostage Taker, Kinjali Sunwing, Narfi, Uncloaked Giant, Sire Stagnation, and Wisp-Mare. Okay? Most of these can be recurred from the graveyard. So Avenging Angel doesn't stay dead because if it goes to your graveyard from play, you put it on top of your owner's library. Kozuma can exile itself, so particularly if you're in control of when and how you sacrifice or you lose your Nevinyrral, then Kozuma can be out of the way and continuing to accrue you value. Dream Trawler has got hexproof, and it's just going to be a way to draw you cards. Not to mention the life gain from it is useful. So, but it will die and is unlikely to be able to be brought back. Dream Stealer can be eternalized, so if it dies, you can get at least a second activation out of it. And when it comes back as an eternalized zombie, it is now a 4/4. God Eternal Kefnet, when it dies, is third from the top, so you can get it back pretty readily. And then Narfi can come back too. So Narfi is good fun. Oh dear. Oh, I liked. Oh dear. Well, I'll show you guys this one. So Narfi Betrayer King is the uncommon. Oh, I'm frozen pretty good here. Narfi is the uncommon. There it is. There's Narfi. So the uncommon legendary that has when you can play three snow and return Narfi for your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, which makes him a pretty good target to when he dies, particularly since Nevinyrral makes zombie tokens. Now you get Narf you back 2, and now you're 2/2s or 3/3s, and you can probably rumble pretty well. And then Realm Cloak Giant, you can exile, you can board wipe, or you can, and then you can cast your 7/7 visuals for later. Sorrow Stagnation is just one of those interesting cards that I've never seen get a lot of play, and I thought I'd put in the deck just to see what it does. And Wismare, again, it's just creatures that have useful abilities to destroy target enchantment is just good value. Your sorceries, you get things list packed with nasty removal here. So you got things like Supreme Verdict, Time Wipe, Winds of Abandon. These are all just like mass removal. You get Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. You get Blood on the Snow. You Dread a Winter. Like these are just ways to kill all the stuff. Feed the Swarm. And then you have some ways to draw some cards. You have Dawn from Dreams. You have and you have a Windfall. All right. Artifacts, let's go see your instance. Again, more interaction to take care of your stuff. So you got sort of the highlight one here is Narcissus Reversal. I think is probably the best. Kabira's Takedown could be interesting because, if you have a situation late in the game where you end up having a lot of zombies on the battlefield, now you have the ability to use this as a removal spell. But if you need to play it as a land, you're welcome to play it as a land because it's an MDSC from Zendikar Rising. Just very useful card. Dovin's Veto is pretty obvious what we're doing with this. Dismantling Blow is an older one that I like a lot. You can use it to destroy an enchantment or an artifact, and you can kick it to draw you some extra cards. It's kind of nice. Despark's just a good way of removing stuff. You're going to notice no Source to Plowshares. You're going to notice no Path to Exile. These are cards I generally don't play. I try to keep things generally on a fairly budgety standpoint. This one's expensive for decks that we brew here on our show because of the fact there's so many relatively expensive Planeswalkers, and the Smothering Tithe adds a lot. Smothering Tithe is like almost a $40 card. We'll talk about why there's so many Planeswalkers here in a little bit. All right. Then for enchantments, you get things like you get some of the ramp options. You get a Psychic Corrosion. You're going to get a Sphinx's Tutelage. I like Sphinx's Tutelage because Sphinx's Tutelage has the ability to use it as a looter, right, built right into it. And with Teferi's Ageless Insight, now you're drawing 2, and you only have to discard 1. Makes it particularly good. So Revel and Riches, I figure there's going to be a lot of things dying in this deck. Not always Nevinyrral killing everything, but there's going to be a lot of things that are going to die. We'll talk about what the game plan is in a second, but I think there's going to be a lot of things dying. So Revel and Riches just going to be something that's probably going to generate you a lot of treasure tokens. And then Ashes of the Abhorrent is a sort of my token way of trying to address some things in the graveyard. Call for Unity. If you're killing lots of things and having lots of things die, this is going to be a really big way to pump zombie tokens into being very, very large. So yeah, Call for Unity is good. And then Miralage's Slumber is something that's interesting because we're playing Snowlands to try and maximize things like Blood on the Snow, Dead of Winter, and such. You're going to get the opportunity to maybe use Miralage's Slumber as turn it into a 2020 token, which seems pretty good if you had to ask me. So, all right. Then, because Nevinyrral doesn't really handle Planeswalkers, there's a whole slew of Planeswalkers in these colors. So, you have an Ajani Steadfast, which has the ability to put extra loyalty counters on things. Dovin Grand Arbiter just is going to plug up the air with Thopters and draw you cards. Elder Sun's Champion is probably the top dog in this deck, where you're going to be getting things to plug up the ground, and then you can make all your zombies fly if you can emblem it. So pretty good. Gideon Blackblade, the ability to give a creature indestructibility and then control Nevinyrral's ability to be sacrificed or to die and then destroy the table, allowing you to keep whatever it is you've got, is pretty good. So I'll keep Gideon Blackblade. Gideon Champion of Justice, again, same sort of thing. If you have a slew of zombies or soldier tokens or something, you could absolutely be using Gideon Champion of Justice. And I'm still lagged here, folks, and I'm really sorry. But Gideon Champion of Justice could ramp up to be a very big Planeswalker very quickly. Oh, come on. There it is. So the Jace Memory Adept, again, just draws you some cards. If you need to, you can get into the mill angle, but I don't think this is really going to be a mill deck. You may end up targeting yourself with the mill, so you can then activate Jace Wielder of Mysteries and get the static ability to win the game. Karn the Great Creator is here predominantly to shut down artifacts. Just pretty much shut them all down so they can't do anything with them. Kasmina is enigmatic mentor makes it harder for your opponents to kill your planeswalkers. The ability to suddenly have things cost additional 2 mana gives you things a lot of protection. Kaya kills things dead and makes sure the things out of hexproof don't get you in the end. Muyan Ling is because she comes out at 3 mana. Narset, well, there's a windfall earlier in this deck you saw, so Narset part of Veils just because. Teferi is Teferi, and that's going to prevent your opponents from interacting with you at instant speed, which is seems good. And then Tezzeret, Artifice Master, again, same thing. Make tokens or plug up or just draw cards. So that's what you're going to do. Now, you really want to use this sort of deck, and you want to be in control of when Nevinyrral dies. All right, so that's where a sack altar like Ashnod's Altar is going to be particularly interesting. Do I have any other sack options in here? Not too many. There are not too many others in the deck, but there's lots of other ways to blow everything up and to get your value off of Nevinyrral. And then let's have a quick look at the mana. So the mana, pretty straightforward. So there's a lot of snow-covered lands down here, and not a lot of other things. You got some things like the Lonely Sandbar and things like that you can cycle away for cards. But the rest of it is mostly snowlands for the most part. Some pathways. The mana base is pretty straightforward and reasonably affordable. I always try to go cheap on my mana. This is under $20 for your mana base. It could be easily upgraded, and in fact, if this had an unlimited budget, this would be what I would upgrade first, and then probably target some of the removal in terms of like going to find some swords and some swords of plowshares and Path to Exiles and such. All right, so that's the deck. It checks in at $227.25, which is a little bit on the expensive side, but is hardly a game breaker, considering that I was looking at decks just the other day that were well into $5,000+. So this is a reasonably budget-friendly version of a Nevinyrral deck. How do I think this deck is going to play out? I am in the impression that this sort of deck is going to be a slog. It's going to be something that is going to be slow to grind through, and I'm hoping that whoever you're playing is prepared for a longer game, because you've got enough interaction, there's some counter spells, removal, and other stuff to probably get you to the point where you can cast Nevinyrral. And once you got that, you probably got removal for the game in place where you're going to wipe the board repeatedly, and presumably keep threats in check. You may find yourself an opponent who has a Ulamog or some other thing that just you cannot address, but we've got a lot of ability here to kill just about everything and get a bunch of tokens back for it, which then you can use if you can, leverage it to do quite a number of things. All right, so that's the deck. $225 seems good to me. Looks like a lot of fun. I haven't yet piloted yet, folks. I'm looking forward to taking it out for a spin in the not too distant future. Anyway, this is Bruce from the Epic Experiment Podcast, and I'm going to be letting you go and signing off here. Hopefully you guys can enjoy this sort of deck. If this is your cup of tea, by all means, have a look on Moxfield.com. You can, by all means, find us on Moxfield under the username The Epic Experiment Podcast, all one word, to see all of the decks that we brew on the show each and every week, or this one, or anything else. If you want to find our podcast, you can find us on Twitter at the Epic EXP Cast, or you can find us on any of the better platforms for finding podcasts. So iTunes, Google Podcasts. Let me see, Spotify, Amazon. Everywhere. We're everywhere. If you want, we're always there, and we're the Epic Experiment Podcast. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day. Talk to you again soon. Bye.